Good to go.
Excellent. All right. Well, thanks to everyone for joining us this morning. We're going to spend the next 45 minutes or so just talking about the new offering from Esri called ArcGIS for Home Use.
Joining conference.
My name is Trish Merz, and I'm a member of the GIS Tech Solutions team here at Eagle in Wellington. And also co-presenting today with myself is Nick Duke, and Nick is a GIS account manager, and he's up in Auckland joining us via the webcast. So the two of us will be taking you through
joining conference
agenda today.
Hi.
To let everyone know, I've put the slides up online for you to access. You can find them at this URL, and I'll also be putting the recording up there as well.
Joining conference.
It's done this afternoon. So that's where you'll find both of those resources. So today we're going to take you through this agenda. We'll start just by introducing what the home use program is, what you get with it, along with some qualifying criteria for the program. We'll also take you through different types of users, as well as some costs and how to actually purchase the home use if you qualify and are interested. Then we'll take you through some resources just to help you get started with your ArcGIS for Home Use software. Then we will take you through a quick demo and finish up with Q&A. Your questions until the end, and we'll go through them then. Okay. So I might pass it off to Nick. He's going to take you through the ArcGIS for Home Use software, talk about what it is, some of those qualification criteria, and then finish up with giving some costing information. So, Nick, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Trish. Hi, everybody. Nick here from Sales up in Auckland. So, yeah, I'll take you through some of the sales stuff, and then I'll kick it back to Trish for some of the cooler stuff, including the demo a little bit later on. So we'll talk a little bit over the next few slides about what the program is, what you get, and included with that some resources, qualification criteria, types of users, FAQ or two. So what is it? Well, it really does make ArcGIS available to everybody. ArcGIS for Home Use is an Esri offer that provides an individual a non-commercial, personal use 12-month term license. That's at ArcGIS Desktop Basic level, or formerly ArcView. It's a single-use license and includes a collection of extensions. The offer really does enable people... Yeah, we're getting a bit of background noise there, aren't we?
Yeah, I was wondering if participants wouldn't mind muting their line, just to sort of eliminate...
Q&A a bit later on.
Yeah. So does everyone mind muting their line, and maybe we can get rid of that background noise, and then when we get into the Q&A session at the end, we'll have you guys unmute then for that session. Sorry to interrupt, Nick.
No problem. Okay, so a couple of key points that are worth noting on this first slide. The words individual, non-commercial, personal use, 12-month term license. Key point is that the licensee is a person, an individual. This program is not targeted at an organisation. It is for your own personal use. It is a 12-month license, so if you do wish to renew, you will do that at the end of the 12-month period. We'll talk a little more about the software and extensions on the next slide. You can flick it across, please, Trish. Okay, so what you get. Again, ArcGIS for Desktop Basic at version 10, single use, and the core desktop extensions are listed below there. The software delivery method is via download. However, physical media is available, and you would just need to talk to us about that at the point of ordering. It's roughly $20 US, I think, if you do need physical media. It is a one-year term license. Maintenance, therefore, is not applicable. It's worth noting that upgrades are also not applicable. What that means is in purchase at the moment, where we're currently at version 10, many of you will know that version 10.1 is due for release fairly shortly. The program at the moment does not provide upgrades during that 12-month period. So if you did actually wish to immediately buy the latest release, it would actually involve
joining conference.
There is a license agreement that needs to be completed. That is between the end user, the licensee, Eagle, and Esri. Slight heads up that will be changing fairly shortly, but that's where we are currently. The core extensions are listed there. You obviously can see that you have a wealth of functionality available to you through the program. There's a lot of information on the Esri website which can detail out each of those extensions for you. If we could kick on to the next slide, please, Trish. You also get full support with the ArcGIS Home Use program. That's our local support, Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. That's by phoning the 0800 number here at Eagle. You can also drop us an email through the support email address there, or complete an online web form, which you'll find on the Eagle website. Some additional resources there available from Esri, support.esri.com, or resources.arcgis.com. I think Trish will touch on these a little bit later on in the presentation. On to resources. A resource that you will have access to is the customer care portal. Upon processing of your order, we'll provide you with an email which would include your license file. It'll also include some download instructions, a download token which will take you to the customer care site. You're prompted there to create a global ID for yourself if you haven't got one already, and then you'll be able to get access to the customer care site. The customer care site will have available for you the software that you're eligible to download, which will be ArcGIS Desktop Basic, and you can also view your license authorizations.
Joining conference.
Care site.
So
just some additional resources to point out to you that you can via Esri subscribe to the Arc News and Arc User publications. That's an electronic form, or you can actually contact Melissa, who many of you will be familiar with in our Wellington office, and she can put you on the mailing list for hard copy versions of those publications. We can move along. Thanks, Trish. Thank you. The qualification criteria. It is essentially open to almost everybody. Again, worth reiterating, it is for an individual, non-commercial, personal use, and you must be over 18 to purchase. So really we're looking at people who, and we'll reiterate this a little further as well, that are perhaps new to ArcGIS and looking to learn the software, those who are familiar to ArcGIS and looking to upskill, and that can also include enthusiasts and hobbyists who look to do their own private project at home. Not to be confused with the NPO program or the conservation programs. They are generally targeted at organisations who do humanitarian or charitable work, and there is a specific set of criteria that those organisations need to fall within to be able to be eligible for those programs. If there's any questions around the eligibility,
joining
for those,
conference,
feel free to bring those up later on, or I can obviously talk to you offline. Probably the most common FAQ. Sometimes I need to take work home with me. may I use the software obtained through the Home Use program to finish my work at home? The answer to this is no. The purpose of ArcGIS for Home Use program is to allow ArcGIS users the opportunity to increase their ArcGIS skills, to conduct research on personal projects, or give back to society by putting their mapping experience to work for the benefit of a local organisation or favourite charity. Many of you will use commercial licensing. You will be aware that you are able to use those licenses in the field through license management. If there's any questions around that, if some of you would like to know more about that, then again, please feel free to raise those questions later on or after this presentation. Another FAQ, I don't currently use ArcGIS at work. Do I qualify for this program? Yes, you do. As long as it's used for non-commercial purposes, anyone can qualify for the ArcGIS for Home Use program. Again, just need to be over 18, and to reiterate again, it is for non-commercial purposes. So the typical types of users. New or existing, so again, those who are new to ArcGIS and are looking to train themselves, or those who are familiar with ArcGIS and are looking to upskill, enter or re-enter the marketplace. So we're also, other interested parties include enthusiasts who are conducting non-work related research, again, private projects of interest that you would do at home. And hobbyists, for example, transit clubs, orienteering clubs, other sports and leisure type activities would benefit the program. How to purchase. Fairly simple, folks. You just need to contact the sales team, either gissales@eagle.co.nz, or you can come through to me. My details are on one of the earlier slides there. We would just need some details from you, some home details, address details, email and phone number. That's for our internal systems and also to provide for Esri, so we can get your customer care number and access to the portal set up. The cost for the program is $195, and that is inclusive of GST. There is also the license agreement that we each sign, yourselves, Eagle and Esri. We will then process your order, provision your license. We can generally turn these around fairly quickly within 1 or 2 days. And again, we would then email you with your license file and access to the customer care portal. I think that's about it from me. Trish?
Okay, great. Thanks, Nick. So hopefully everyone knows a bit more now about what this program is and how you might qualify for it and how to actually purchase it if you are interested. I'm going to finish up with giving you some resources that you can take away to get started with your home use license, and then I'll go into some demos. So training is really the best way to get up and running with ArcGIS, and Esri provides a wealth of various training resources to help you either get started with ArcGIS or perhaps to improve your GIS skills. So training seminars are a free 1-hour recorded presentation, and these include software demos and Q&A sessions, and these are run with Esri subject matter experts. They differ from web courses, which are self-directed training sessions, which include conceptual material and presentations and some more hands-on software exercises that aren't included in those training seminars. And the web courses also have an exam at the end as well, which allow you to test your understanding of the material that's been presented in those web courses. And there's some good web courses that I would recommend to anyone who's just getting started, and that is the Getting Started with GIS web course, as well as using ArcMap in ArcGIS Desktop 10. So getting started with GIS is really geared towards people who would have little or no experience of GIS, while the second web course is really geared at people that are upgrading to ArcGIS Desktop 10. Esri also produces a series of instructional podcasts, and these are free, short audio recordings on specific topics. And these, again, are delivered by an Esri subject matter. And you can listen to these online, or you can also download them to MP3 format. You can sort of listen to them on your iPod on the way to work or in the car. It's quite nice. Esri also has a series of online tutorials, and these are available on the Resource Center. So these are also free, and they are self-paced tutorials. And I should note that for the web courses and for the online tutorials, you do need access
Joining conference.
to your own ArcGIS software, whereas the training seminars are just a 1-hour recorded session that you can just watch regardless of whether or not you have access to your own software. The final training resource is the Esri Press, and these are books that Esri publishes on a variety of ArcGIS subject matters. Now, Eagle has access to just over 50 different Esri Press publications, and these are available through a library service which is hosted at the School of Earth Sciences at Victoria University here in Wellington, and those books are also free to borrow. We just charge for any shipping costs for those books. So pretty much all of these resources are free. There are certain web courses that do have a fee, but the two that I've included on this slide are free as well. Help. So knowing where to go to for help is really paramount to being successful with your ArcGIS software. And the Resource Center is really the first place to go to get questions answered. There's an extensive help library, as well as blogs and forums as well, which are all accessible through resources.arcgis.com. Esri.com is the place to go to get more product-specific information. So, for example, if you want to find out more about the home use program, you go to esri.com/home use. And Esri.com also has a collection of different videos that you can watch on various products. And there is also a new site that is live now that you can visit. It's Resource Beta Center. And this really allows you to preview what's coming at version 10.1. And they've really changed the format of the Resource Center. They're trying to make it a lot easier to find things like the help libraries and blogs and forums, because right now you sort of have to know where to go. So hopefully in this new Resource Center that we will see in June, it's just going to be a lot easier to access these resources. All right. There are some data and tools out there as well, which are, for the most part, free to access. Eagle publishes a couple different base maps that we've indexed on ArcGIS Online. And for anyone who's not familiar with ArcGIS Online, it's a cloud-based collaborative content management system which allows you to work with geographic information, allows you to store geographic information and also share geographic information between different users. So we've put up a couple different base maps. If you go to arcgis.com and search for New Zealand Community, you will find our New Zealand Community base map. And this is a reference base map, which is hosted in our Eagle Cloud, which is free for users to connect to and use in desktop. And it also includes some help documentation for anyone that isn't familiar to connecting to services. This is a good resource that takes you step by step through how to connect to and start consuming these services. We also have a topographic base map, which is a cached base map service of all of the LINS topographic series base maps. And this is cached to a scale of 1 to 25,000. And I should say the New Zealand Community base map is cached to a scale of 1 to 2,500. Esri also produces a number of different base maps, and the Esri Streets and Esri Imagery base maps have recently been updated for New Zealand, so you'll find a lot more content there that was previously missing. And next on the list of updates for New Zealand are the Ocean base map and the National Geographic base map as well. On ArcGIS Online, you can also upload and download map and layer packages, and we've added one layer package, and this is a subset of the LINS road centerline data set with associated symbology and labels as well, which show the state highway shields, which you can save to your local symbol library and start using yourself. And finally, a few different tools that are available through ArcGIS Online are the Esri World Place Locator, as well as Eagle's New Zealand Gazetteer service. And the Esri World Places geocoding service is a place name locator which was built using the GeoNames data set. And this data set includes reference to over 14 million places around the world, including places in New Zealand as well. Now, the Esri World Place Locator is free to use for any geo-searching. So, for example, you can search for locations and have your map zoom to that location. However, it is a paid subscription service in order to do any actual geocoding. So to run it through a geocoder, you'll have to sign up for something called an organizational subscription, which will then allow you to actually tie XY locations to your places. There is a free gazetteer service that we provide, and this is also a place name locator service. However, this is free for both searching and geocoding as well. And our gazetteer was built using the LINS New Zealand Geographic Place Name data set. So any of the place names that you'd find in that data set, you'll be able to find reference to using this gazetteer service. And that's, again, free for both searching and geocoding as well. Another great resource for accessing free authoritative data is the new LINS data service. And this provides, again, free online access to over 40 authoritative up-to-date LINS land and seabed data sets. And they recently added support for the Esri File Geodatabase, which is great. So you no longer have to download to shapefile. You can download directly to File Geodatabase format, which is wonderful. Lastly, another resource for data sets is the the GIS list. And I'll show you on my next slide how to actually access the GIS list. But this, I suppose, should be used as a last resource, but people on the GIS list are always quite helpful and willing to supply data to other users in New Zealand, so that's another place to go. All right, I thought I'd take you through some of the communities that are out there, both in New Zealand and abroad. I've mentioned the New Zealand Esri user group, and this is a committee of Esri GIS users from across the country, and this committee organizes various events and also provides access to things like the GIS book library that I told you about. They also run the GIS user email list, and if anyone is interested in getting on that email list, you can just email Melissa Bethwaite, and her email address is on the screen there for you. The user group committee also runs various regional meetings across the country, and there are a few scheduled for the next month. There'll be a user group meeting up in Hawke's Bay on May 23rd, and Andrew Shakes has recently organized one for Wellington on the 6th of June. And then another one has been organized in Taranaki later in the month as well of June. And Eagle will be attending those 3 user group meetings just to give a bit of a 10-1 technical update. So if you want to know anything more about those user group meetings, feel free to email myself or anyone on the user group committee as well. Should be able to answer any questions you might have. So we've got a couple conferences coming up. Eagle is hosting the Asia Pacific User Conference, and that's happening November 5th to 7th up in Auckland at the Sky City Convention Center. And the International Esri User Conference happens every year over in San Diego, and that will be running July 23rd to 27th. And both of these conferences are a great place to network with various Esri users, see what other people are doing with the software, and also be able to chat with us here in New Zealand and Esri staff over in the States. The final community that I wanted to introduce you guys to is the New Zealand Geospatial Office, and these guys are really leading the New Zealand geospatial strategy for the country, and they author various blogs as well as an SDI cookbook. So if you want to learn more about this concept of the spatial data infrastructure and you're interested in perhaps contributing to it, they're really the guys to go to get more information about that. All right. So next I thought I would take you through a bit of a software demonstration and just show you some of the things that I've spoken about today. I wanted to start off with taking you through ArcGIS Online and just really familiarize you, if you're not already aware, with some of the data repository functionalities that are available through ArcGIS Online. So I'm just going to sign in, and I should tell you, you don't have to sign up for ArcGIS.com to actually browse or even use the data that's available through ArcGIS.com. However, if you do want to contribute to ArcGIS.com, then you've just got to sign up through an account, which really just has you linking your Esri Global ID with ArcGIS Online. So you may or may not have noticed, but when I signed in, the featured content down at the bottom has been localized for New Zealand. So you can see some of the base maps that I spoke about earlier, and this allows me to just quickly access them here through the gallery pane. I can also search for content, so I could search for New Zealand community. And here's that New Zealand community base map that I spoke about earlier. So this is the detail page for this item. Just gives a bit of background on the data set, as well as some access and use constraints. And we've provided a user guide with this resource, which just gives you step-by-step instructions on how to actually connect to this service in desktop. So I'm going to grab this URL, and I'm going to pop into desktop. And I'm going to actually show you how to connect to this service if I wanted to access this base map in desktop. So what I'm going to do is I could do it one of two ways. I could go through the Add Data button, or I could pop over to my GIS server and add a GIS server. So what I want to do is I want to use a GIS service, and this is connecting to this ArcGIS Online .co.nz service. So I'm going to connect to that ArcGIS server by entering the connection parameters to it, starting with HTTP. Just to finish, you don't need any authentication to use this service. You can see I've got quite a few different servers here, and this is that service that I just connected to. So if I pop open these various folders, you can now see that I not only have access to this New Zealand community base map, but I also have access to all the other services that Eagle is providing. So these GeoTIFFs is that LINS topographic base map that I spoke of, and the Gazetteer service as well. So I can just drag and drop this onto my map, and I've got a nice reference base map that I can freely use within desktop. So the next thing I thought I would do is take you through a bit of a scenario that perhaps a home use user might sort of a typical home use case. So I've got some data that has been provided by a member who's a part of Miro. And Miro is a volunteer group who work in partnership with the Greater Wellington Regional Council. And they work predominantly in the East Harbour Regional Park area, which is just outside Eastbourne, in supporting conservation efforts through pest eradication. So this home use user contributes to the efforts of Miro, but is really doing it on a sort of a personal basis. So they've qualified for a home use license on that criteria. So what I might do is I'm going to zoom to Eastbourne, but I'm going to show you how I can do that using that Gazetteer service that I talked to you about. So I'm just going to add reference to that Gazetteer service. And I'm going to connect to this this Eagle ArcGIS server, which is available through that URL that I just showed you. I'm going to connect to the LINS folder, and I'm just going to add this Gazetteer service. So now that's one of the locators that I can use in my geocoding toolbar. So I'll just close that. And I'll also show you here, this is that World Places geocoder that I spoke about as well, that is available through ArcGIS Online. So I can use both of those to search with. So I'm just going to load the Linz Gazetteer. And this area that I'm working with is in Robinson Bay. So I'm just going to enter Robertson Bay. Enter. Okay, and you can see that it's flashed down to Wellington. And I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to choose to actually zoom in to that area. And I might just add a call-out just so I can see a bit clearer where I'm working. And we'll just zoom in there. Okay, so this is the study area that I've got data for. So the data that I've got, you can see in my catalog window. I've got some compass bait stations as well as some compass lines. And these just delineate rat poison stations, which have been put in the area. Now, I've got this data from a field worker with Miro, and when I open up the properties of this shapefile, I immediately notice that there's no coordinate system that's attached with either of these data sets. So the first thing that I'm going to want to do to actually be able to work with these shapefiles is to actually define and to attach a projection system to these two data sets. So I know from talking with my field worker that the data was collected in NZTM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for a tool called Project in my tools. And I'm going to run something called Define Projection on that data set. And this is going to assign the NZTM coordinate system to these data sets. So something new in 10.1 is the ability to set a spatial filter. So this allows me just to more easily zoom in on the coordinate system that I'm interested in. And I'm going to just type New Zealand transverse and search. And now when I click on here, I'm automatically taken to that projection system. I'm going to say OK. We'll run it. And you can see the data set was plotted on my map here. So I'm just going to run the same tool on the compass lines as well, which is also in NZTM. Okay, we're finished. And there you go. We've got the bait stations and lines mapped correctly in the forest area, just outside Eastbourne. So what I can do next is maybe symbolize this. We always use red points and black lines to delineate this data. Okay. So now I've got that plotted and looking a bit nicer. Now the next thing I might want to do is to actually share this data with other members of Miro or other volunteers that I'm working with. And one way that I can do that is to create a layer package. And I can actually create a layer package and upload this layer package to ArcGIS Online, where other users can freely and quite easily connect to it and download it. So what I'm going to do is going to create a group. I'll call this my Miro data. Okay. Now I am going to choose to create a layer package, and it takes me through this dialog. So I can choose to upload my package to my ArcGIS Online account, which is great. I do need to just provide some summary information, so I'm going to call this Miro field data. Okay. There we go. New at 10.1 is the ability to add additional files. So, for example, if I had a PDF document, perhaps, that explained more about my data sets, I could choose to actually add that, and it's packaged up with the rest of the data. And then when another user unpacks it, they not only have the data available, but also any documentation that you've provided as well. So the next thing that I have to do is just connect to my ArcGIS Online account. And once I'm connected, it will then ask me, who do I want to share this data with? And once you sign up to ArcGIS Online, you are able to share content, to upload data like I am right now, but you also have the ability to create groups. So what I've done is I've created a group for members of the conservation group that I'm a part of, and
leaving conference.
I can choose to just share my data with this group on ArcGIS Online, and to exclude everyone else. So I'm just going to analyze my data and make sure it's ready to go. Okay, and I can see that a layer description is needed before I'm able to actually share this. So we're just going to quickly go in. I'm going to do a bit of a cheat and just put my name here as the description, just to make this a bit quicker. And now I should be able to create this layer package. Okay. And again, I'll share it with my Mural Conservation group, analyze. Yeah, that's interesting. I have a layer description, so why is it not? Because I have a group, and it wants a layer description on my group as well. There we go. So now I should be able to create this layer package. I will, one thing to get in a good habit of for 10.1 is to always make sure that you've got descriptions on your layer files and your map documents if you're wanting to share them at all, because you will get, you'll start to get a bit annoyed when it doesn't allow you to share things. So it's always a good habit to get into to make sure those descriptions are there first. All right, so I should be able to publish this now. Great. So I'm just going to click Share, and what's happening is that this data is being converted into file geodatabase format. The layer files are also being attached to the data, and then it's being packaged and uploaded to my Miro Conservation group on ArcGIS Online. So if I go down to my group, I should be able to see that. And this is that newest layer package that I've just created. So I can choose to open this in ArcGIS for desktop or to download it locally as well. So again, this is really a great way to be able to share data quite easily with other colleagues or other associates. And this is all, you can do this free. There are no costs associated with signing up to ArcGIS Online and creating groups. So I just wanted to finish up with showing you one more resource that is available in the ArcGIS suite, and this is called ArcGIS Explorer for Desktop. Now, you don't get ArcGIS Explorer for desktop with your home use license. However, it is a free download which is available to anyone. So if you are sharing data with other people that may not necessarily have any ArcGIS software, this is a great way that you can provide data to them and perhaps suggest that they download this application locally so that they can work with data that you provide. And it's available in both 2D and 3D as well. So right now I've got it in 3D mode. And I thought I would just show you some of that data that I've been working with, but in 3D through ArcGIS Explorer. So I could actually add those ArcGIS layers that I've just uploaded to ArcGIS Online. I can also add shape files as well. So I'll just connect to those shape files that I've been working with. And after so there you go, you can see that they've been added to Wellington. So we'll just go to that location. There you go. So it's really a great way to visualize these points in 3D. So one other data set that I've got on my computer is a CSV file that delineates photo points. So every year, members of the Miro group go out and take photographs at certain locations, and these photographs are always taken at the same time of the year just to document the vegetation in the area. So I've got these as a CSV file, and I want to be able to visualize them in ArcGIS Explorer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the CSV files. It's going to ask me if I want to add the data based on properties previously saved for the file. So if I've actually already loaded these, and it's remembered the settings that I put the last time I loaded them, but I'll take you through and show you the steps that you would go through. So I'm going to say no. So this data is comma separated. The X field is delineated by an easting, and the Y is delineated by a northing, and it uses the NZTM coordinate system. So we'll just finish, and those have been added to the map. However, they're symbolized the same, so we might just change that symbol. We'll make it a red point. We'll change this symbol as well. Make that perhaps a blue point so we can just see where they are. And there you go. So I've got my photo points as well.
Leaving conference.
So I could save this Explorer document and share this with other people. And again, this allows me to share my data with other users that may not necessarily have access to any ArcGIS licenses. All right, so that's really it for the formal portion of the presentation. I now just wanted to hand it off to you guys if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask.
Must have covered it pretty thoroughly, Trish.
Is that it? Yeah, any questions? Start if you want to talk to them.
Okay, so Ben's got a question. He says, when 10.1 comes out, will home use be available in 10.1 as well? Yes, yeah, it will. So if you are thinking about, this is actually a really good question, if you are thinking about purchasing a home use license, remember that Nick said upgrades are not available. So if you were to purchase a home license now, you would get ArcGIS
Leaving
version
conference.
10. So you may want to wait until June and then purchase a home use license, which would entitle you to 10.1 version of the software.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben.
Leaving
Any other
conference.
questions?
Yeah, that was really good.
Okay, great. I will leave our contact details here on this final slide. So if you do think of anything later today, do feel free to flick either Nick or myself an email, and we'll be happy to answer any of those questions. And also remember that the PowerPoint slides have been provided via PDF. In that location I showed you at the beginning of the webinar, and I will also be uploading the recording as well. All right. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks to everyone for joining. And again, if you do think of any questions, feel free to fire us a line. All right.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Trish.
Thank you.
Leaving conference.